Thanks for staying with us for TV5 News at 9. It's time now for Legally Speaking with attorney Carol Thomas. We always learn so much in these sessions. Love to talk to you and catch up. We're focusing on elder law and estate planning and also trust. So we should start with mentioning the seminars. How are those looking?
Those are looking full.
Are they?
Yeah, so actually the seminars that I have next week in Bay City, they have filled a capacity.
Okay.
So I thought what I wanted to do today was mention, but my next seminars are going to be in Saginaw at the Horizon Center on November 13th. And so if people do want to come to my seminars, I encourage them, Christine, to call now because they do fill the capacity. And we always have a lot of disappointed people that can't make the seminars. And I talk about wills and trusts. I talk about medical powers of attorney and financial powers of attorney, just a lot of good information.
And we want to remind everyone too, these are free, but you said RSVP in advance because they are. So many people want to see them.
Yes.
You've been doing this how many, 27 years?
Yeah, 27
Wow.
years. It's amazing.
Well now, can you tell us the main reason why a financial power of attorney is so important?
The financial power of attorney, I think, is the most important legal document. And a lot of people wouldn't really be aware of that. And it's funny, at the seminar when I do talk about financial powers of attorney, that's when people are really starting to take a lot of notes. Because the power of attorney is our key to getting assets protected if a loved one ever needs nursing home care. If someone's in a nursing home, their loved ones just can't start doing transfers and setting up special trusts to protect the money. They need authority in that power of attorney allowing them to do it. And interestingly, Christine, we review other lawyers' powers of attorney. 95% of the time, we have to redo them.
Really?
Yes, so if the person is not competent when they go in a nursing home and they have one of these powers of attorney that don't work, I may not be able to help them. It's really important that people get a well-drafted financial power of attorney from an office with a certified elder law attorney.
And do it while we're healthy.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, what are some of the other key points that you talk about at your seminars?
Well, actually, I divide it into 4 sections. I talk about what if you don't do anything? What happens? And that's certainly easy, and that's what 70% of people do is they don't do anything.
70%?
70%. But think about it, Christine, that's a conscious decision. No, I don't need to do this, because you've got to think about it at some point. So you decide not to do it. That's one thing that I talk about. I talk about joint tenancy, adding people's names on deeds, and why that's a huge mistake. Then I talk about what about setting up a will or setting up a trust. And my theme with all of this is how does this all work together to protect assets if someone ever does need long-term care.
Why do you think people hold off on it? Do you think it's overwhelming?
Definitely overwhelming. I think it's something people don't want to think about. They always think, oh, that'll happen to someone else. I'll never be in long-term care. But we also talk about what happens when you die, and that we certainly do know will happen to all of us. So for people to say, I don't need to deal with this, really is ridiculous. It really is, because it's going to affect all of us at some point. And don't we want to make it easier for our loved ones than to make it so difficult for them?
Because when things aren't set up correctly, it is an absolute nightmare, really. I mean, it's just very difficult. A lot of
Very
extra
hard.
work for families.
Yes.
What is the difference between Medicaid planning, let's say, for someone who is single versus a married couple?
For a married couple, it's wonderful what we're able to do. For a married couple, we are actually able to save 100% of their assets. Everything, and that is wonderful, and we get Medicaid to pay the bill. And everyone has paid their taxes their whole life into the Medicaid system, so I feel people deserve this back if they have that health emergency that they need long-term care. So married, we save it all. Single, we can only save 60%, and people are very surprised about that, and they're very disappointed. But a single person doesn't have a spouse that they're worried that they could become impoverished because of their spouse health care. So for a single person, we can only save 60%, and people are not happy with that. One of my favorite stories, I had a woman that came to see me years ago. She was in her 90s. She was in the nursing home. Her mental status was perfect, but she wasn't able to get around. So she's sitting in my office with her 2 daughters, and she's so sad we can only save 60%. She said, is there anything we can do so I can save more? And I was obligated to say, you could get married. And she actually said, she looked at her daughters and said, there's a man down the hall. I know he likes me.
I love that.
And the daughter said, Mom, don't do that. And she didn't, but she was disappointed. But at least we still helped her with 60%.
Well, we talk back to those seminars. They've helped so many people. It would be thousands, I would assume, by now?
I actually did the math. Yes, thousands and thousands.
So neat. What do you think is your favorite part of presenting the seminars?
I really like the reaction on people's faces as I'm talking about these things, and then the questions and answers. They're just amazed that I can help. And they often will ask me, like, why doesn't everybody do this? And I say, because they're not aware that it can be done. Because it's really, if they decide to get documents done the right way, they don't have to worry at all about ever losing everything. Yes.
All right, thank you, Carol, so much for being here. We want to remind you, too, if you want more information or how to get a hold of Carol or reserve a spot in one of those seminars, go to the hot link section at WNEM.com. It's also on our mobile app, too. We're back in just a moment.